Today, I want to have a discussion with you. I want this to be a personal discussion between you and me. And I want to explore the topic, are problems real? That's right. Are problems real? So the first thing I want to ask you is this question. What is a problem? What is a problem to you? How do you define a problem? It's something that's a part of you. Do you own it? If you don't do it, is it going to be a great problem for you? Is it going to cause you great concern, great upset? Here's what a problem is. A problem is simply a thought. That's right, it's just a thought. If you really think about it, you're looking at something, you have a thought. And there's a meaning that you've attached to the thought. And because you've had the thought and you've had the meaning, that causes an emotional response. And anything that's not harmonious, that's not a blissful thing, we label it as a problem. So then we go to the question and we ask ourselves, what is a thought? Very simply, a thought is simply a movement of energy. So if it's a movement of energy, then we understand that everything is energy, so thought is energy. If it's a movement of energy, then in order to move, it has a frequency. So the frequency of the thought, which will be based on the emotions that you attach to the thought. Because if a thought goes past your mind and you don't see a positive or negative, it's going to have a certain frequency. But if a thought goes through your mind, it's a movement of energy, and you've attached something to it that's good, it's going to have a frequency. If you think something that's bad, when you have that movement of energy, that thought, it's going to have a different energy, right? So a thought is a movement of energy through the mind in which the mind goes. So let's take that a step further. What's a belief? A belief is something you've thought over and over and over and over again. And think about this. What do beliefs do? They create our life experience. One of the predominant tenets we teach in religious science was the basis of what Jesus taught as well, was it is done unto you as you believe. The master teacher gave us a key thing about experiencing life. He told us it will happen to us as we believe. This universal law that's everywhere present that we talk about in Science of Mind, this power that is everywhere all the time responding to us, it's responding to what we believe. So what we believe about something tells us whether we have a problem or not. So a belief is what? Based on the power that it is done unto you as you believe, a belief is an outpicturing in consciousness. In other words, that belief and the energy of that belief outpictures in consciousness. So if you have a thought that you consider it to be a problem, so it's a movement of energy, it's a problem movement of energy, and you keep attaching other things to it. Well, what if this, if this, if this, if this, if this, and you keep attaching to it, that belief becomes deeper and deeper and deeper, and what happens? It outpictures in consciousness. What is consciousness? It's your life. So how do we get at the root of this? So let me ask you this question. Who is observing this outcome? Remember, we just said, a belief is an outpicturing in consciousness. So who's observing this outpicturing? And you say, well, of course I am. I'm observing this outpicturing of consciousness. Then I ask the question, then who are you? Are you the body? Are you the ego? Are you the thought? Are you the feeling? Who are you? Let me give you something to consider. Who you are, to the best that I'm able to come up with, is the awareness which has a body and has a mind. That's right. Your name, my name, and everyone's name is awareness. The key is, are you aware? Are you aware that you have a body, but you're not your body? Are you aware that you have a mind, but you're not your mind? Are you aware that you have thoughts, and you're not your thoughts? Are you aware that you have feelings, but you're not your feelings? Are you aware that you have a past, but you're not your past? That's the deepest level of awareness, because we live most of our life, most of our day is unconscious. And so when you understand that, oh my God, that's huge. So as we deal with this, as we're dealing with these things, these thoughts that we've labeled as problems, how can we minimize their impact on us? How can we stop them from becoming controlling of our emotions, taking us into the bowels of depression, anxiety, fear? I think the key thing here might be to ask an empowering question. And here are the questions I want to ask. When you're having that experience of depression, ask this question: am I that? Am I that depression? Am I that anxiety? Am I that fear? Or am I anger? Or follow that with the question, or is it that which I am aware of? Is that depression in Lee Wallach something I'm aware of? In other words, is Lee Wallach having the experience of depression? Are you having the experience of depression? That saying that is very different than saying I'm depressed, I'm angry. No, I'm that which is having the experience of anger. Do you see the disassociation there? Because you are the observer, but we stop acting as the observer and we become the quality, and we label that quality. I'm angry. No, I'm that which is aware that the person, Lee Wallach, is having the experience of anger in this moment. And just in saying it that differently, guess what happens? The emotional charge is reduced because it's not you. You're not going to take it so personally. But the ego wants to claim that everything is it. That's just not it. When someone is expressing extreme anger, you know they're saying, I'm angry. They are not saying, I'm the person and I'm aware that I'm having the experience of anger. That's a huge thing to understand. So I want to bring you to this, because as we look at problems and we look at thoughts and we look at beliefs and we look at who are you and we look at, are you the actual quality or are you the one observing? I want you to realize that all suffering is caused by thinking negative thoughts. All those problems which are negative thoughts are causing you suffering. So 100% of the suffering you feel is your responsibility because you're the one thinking. You're the one who's identifying with the problem. Instead of seeing the problem as an external thing, as something you are experiencing, not something that you are. Suffering, my friend, is optional. Unfortunately, we've not been taught to think that way. We've been taught that suffering is natural, that you must suffer to grow. No, you don't have to. Suffering is a choice. I know in my Catholic upbringing, the suffering of Jesus, the suffering of humankind, that I must suffer and I must repent for God to love me, to take me into heaven, to forgive me. I must suffer. And so I was given penance, so that the penance was a punishment. And what is punishment? Suffering. Suffering is caused by negative thoughts. And the only one that can choose what you think is you. That's it. You see, we have the ability to consciously create without suffering, should we choose to see our truth. Do you get that? Should we choose to see our truth. So we come back again to those empowering questions when we're having that experience of anger, depression, anxiety, jealousy, whatever that negative emotion would be. Am I that? Or am I that which is aware that I am having an experience of? The more you do this in your life, the more you do this every day, and you're literally building a separation so that you can become the observer while having your body, having your mind, fully experiencing all that life is. The second you can go and ask the question, am I aware that I'm having the experience of anger? The second I do that, I release attachment. And what did the Buddha say? Attachment is the source of all suffering. So when I can come and be the observer and see that I'm having an experience of, but I'm not attached to that experience because I understand that the problem or the emotion is simply a movement of thought, and I control thought and I can change my thought. I realize that I am powerful. I realize in that moment that I am, and I have the ability to consciously create without suffering because I see my truth. That's power, my friends. What I want to invite you to do is start right now, wherever you are and what you're feeling in this moment. Take that negative feeling, whatever it is, whatever problem it is, and go, am I that problem? Or am I the one observing me, having the experience of whatever it is? And see how that feels. And then keep doing that all day today. And keep doing it tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. And then in 1 week, consciously observe what happened to your week. I guarantee you, if you have problems, they'll disappear real fast, because most of the problems are just made up nonsense. They're thoughts. And when we can let go of our attachment to the thoughts, we set ourselves free. And when we're free, we can love. Love does not know problems. Love accepts life as it is. It accepts us as we are right now. And if you can accept life as it is, and you can accept yourself as you are right now, my friend, you are living as love. I know you can do it because I see your truth. And I smile because it is astonishingly beautiful. You are an individualized, unique experience of love.